75 points ahead of their opponents right now. More guns, they're on the back foot. They need to make something happen because mid has been decapped as well. Xeon is going to go down, and actually this might just be the end of it for Morguns on this first map. Xeon does get finished off. Demon just trying to kite around and survive, but it's only 1 point in favor of Vermilion.
This is going to be important if he gets it. Obviously, the Necro's been quite... It's not taking a lot apart. Nice job from Alcor. And Xeon is just trying to get there as soon as he possibly can.
Denied.
And that's just absolute denial, yeah.
Doesn't have his heal off cooldown and he will go down, but Sling is not feeling so lucky himself. And immediately you see
yes, he gets it
manages
first.
to get it.
Good
that
job.
Gets the res as well. 14 points away from victory, and they're going to be able to just sustain this point. Carver's still on the point. It goes. The decaps come through, and now it's a 2-cap in favor of Super Smash.
But look, there's no coverage from Red Team. They got Portal over on this side of the map. I think they have. And actually, that was very good movement from the Necro. Used his Shout Elite and actually stuck Cole Summer off node.
They are going to be able to take that, and now they even up the scoreline. They still have the 2-cap for themselves, and it looks like they're winning this fight over towards the quarry.
Bear, however, going to pick up a decap at the keep before Paul's able to get there. That's a pretty big move from him, and already going to deplete some of the...
And this is so huge because he already has the portal down. He could just portal right back. This is such a good play from Bear if he can get back over there.
He should be able to get the full cap, too.
Yeah, I think the portal is there. He does get the full cap, and he manages to save the decap as well. Such a huge play from Bear. That is going to be critical going into the next couple of minutes. Without some support from his teammates, he's going to be going down soon. He does actually go down. This could be a huge opportunity here for E-Dream, but I'm not sure if they're going to get him up. And they do portal out onto the door. K-Bud might still go down, though he does use his heal, and they're just going to go straight for the Lord here. Bob going to be trying to go for the res as Dalton was able to get it with the slick shoes, just putting Sup Cutie right on his face, and they're going to be able to get that kill off. And now they have decaps across the map with their cap on the mansion. This is a very good spot for them to be in, especially with Bob extremely low here, Dalton with that Bulwark Gyro as well. And he's onto the rampage, so he's going to put a ton of pressure down onto Urantian here.
I mean, Zeromus is dead at the mid node as well. Things cannot be going better here for Gems and Tonic, who look to pick up the clock tower.
Ostrich Eggs right now at full HP, but taking a lot of Condi pressure. Is a mode right now. So much CC. Look at that. The Wombo combo taking Ostrich Eggs out completely.
That was all Schnicky there with that surge in the miss. He hit like 100% of that and just destroyed Ostrich Eggs.
Vanoram still being bled out. Great job from them just making sure that he's not on the map at all, because Vanoram's presence in this meta on the Mesmer is huge for this Astral team, and Aerox has been taken out. Looks like they're going to be going for a stomp. This is your opportunity to put a ton of damage on this and potentially make it a wipe here, as Aerox is going to be finished off there by Stal. Chaith taking a lot of pressure as well. Nos was taken out as well. This is huge for them. This is a huge turn of events. I mean, Chaith is going to be eliminated as well. Blue team back in this. Never Lucky coming back.
The 3v3 didn't go so well over at the windmill, as we have all three four-man wipe here, as Astral Authority could be in trouble. Taking a look over here at the big mansion fight. This is everything for these guys. Sunfish outside of Shroud, 100% HP, but has nothing. Doesn't have any Shroud, has no cooldown aside from Consume Conditions now. Puts his Condis onto Fanaram. We'll have to see if he's able to deal with them. We actually see Fayov not wanting to be in that 1v1 anymore against Chaith. 70 points away from getting back in this game. 3 minutes remaining. Stalacta in the downstate here. This could be a miraculous comeback.
Hello everyone, welcome to On Point, the first On Point of Season 2 of the Pro League. You have myself, obviously, Jebro, and Mr. Heurix from NA, of course, presenting the show as per usual. We had a very exciting Pro League, interesting as well as inciting week of Pro League for the first week. Of course, on EU we had two series, actually cancelled for now. Now I can give you news on that. It will be played in future on a Pro League night in EU. That's
5 games per night.
Will be 5 games. I don't know when.
Exciting, man.
Yeah, it's loads of excitement. I'll be working a little bit harder that night, but that's absolutely fine. But yeah, so that's going to happen in future. So everyone that's been asking me, everyone that's probably been asking Heurix, everyone that's probably been asking anyone, pass it on to your friends. It's being played on a Pro League night. You will get to see those games and those series, because we don't obviously want to not have them played, because they need to be played. Otherwise, NA actually went off without a hitch and was pretty bloody exciting, actually. And we can talk about that in a moment. Did you have a good time, Cast? Cast was good?
Cass was good, man. Cass
Cass
was
is
good.
good.
Pretty exciting.
Cass is
Actually,
good.
really exciting matches. I mean, some stuff that maybe, I mean, obviously everything that went on Play Day 1 for NA was as anticipated, I guess, although there was definitely some potential there for some exciting stuff to happen, and we saw some, I hate to use the word again, potential from some of these teams that I don't think a lot of people anticipated, I guess. Teams like eDream, Gyms and Tonic, Never Lucky, certainly showed up despite their losses.
So, what is it? I mean, if you want to just quickly run through those, I've got the results up now on screen. So
First game,
quick little mini rundown.
PZ versus eDream.
That's
right?
the right one, indeed.
So PZ wound up winning that 2-0. eDream actually did quite a good job in that matchup. That was actually our first match. Could have been potentially a match of the week because eDream came through the Challenger Cup. Was, I believe, the top team through the Challenger Cup. So they actually have been showing up. They came through AGs much like Gyms and Tonic. So they have proven that you can create a roster, come up, and enter the Pro League and actually do pretty well for yourself. They went 500 to like 400 and then 500 to 300, I believe, were the scores for their teams, or for those two games on Forest
That's
and Legacy.
really good.
So, yeah, and that's against PZ, the team that went second place in NA and went to the season finals.
Went to finals.
Yeah, so that's definitely really awesome from them. Second game, Final Form versus Gyms and Tonic, wound up going 2-1 in favor to Final Form. Gyms and Tonic managing to take a map off of the team Final Form that actually had been to WTS. Not the exact team, but certainly most of it. And those games are really close too. I mean, one game was 500 to like 490. The third game on Kylo was 465 to 428 and went to timer. So I mean, like the only game that really swayed much towards Final Form's favor was the Legacy game, where they basically kind of dominated and did what PZ did, which was that kind of really waggy little portal push to Lord at the last second there. But I mean, other than that, I mean, Gyms and Tonic was in that match, or all of those matches throughout. So really awesome to see that. Looking forward to seeing them next week as well. Spooky versus Easy Peasy was kind of like the battle between 7th and 8th, I would say.
Yeah.
I hate to say it.
No. It's
like,
okay. It's okay.
Spooky is not the same team that they used to be, and they kind of proved that to everybody when they went up against Easy Peasy, and Easy Peasy actually wound up 2-0ing them. And Easy Peasy is, of course, one of the teams last season that got relegated, made it back through the Challenger series. So they are back now, getting their first win, 2-0, so good for them.
Yeah.
And then the match of the week, man. The match of the week. Astro Authority, formerly known as the Abjured.
I've written the Abjured in the results as well. So yeah, just for this week, I thought, okay, just because no one knew, I'll stick the Abjured back in there, but you're right, exactly. Well, so what's happened with the Abjured? Do you want to update everyone?
So the Absurd wound up actually getting picked up by a sponsor, Astro Authority. Really cool guys. So they're going to be under the name of Astro Authority. We'll be going, when we like talk about them, you'll hear us say Astral, Team Astral, something like that as well. So if you hear Astral, that is the Absurd. So now everybody is aware of that. So with Astral,
you're still
they
going to go
haven't
for it sometime.
really done a lot during the off season, so we weren't really sure where they were going to be at this first week, especially given the fact that the matchups kind of just a couple days before is when the matchups went live. So they didn't have a lot of time to prep for their match, which was against probably, at least in my opinion, the top contender for their potential position at number 1, which was Never Lucky. And those matches were close, man. I mean, we are talking close.
I stayed up late to watch that. It was like almost 3 a.m. and I was like, I cannot go to bed until I know who wins. I cannot.
So that went ultimately in favor to Astral, 2-1. So despite the fact that they were using a sub for Wakey, who in my opinion is one of their top players, just in terms of consistency and what he brings to the match and what he can do for the team to basically kind of like rely on him. They brought in Aerox, formerly from Zero Counterplay from last season, the team that actually wound up getting no wins. So they brought him in, did a great job, played phenomenally, at least in my opinion. And they showed up 1-2-1. Forest was 473 to 440, and Legacy wound up being within 20 points. 500 to 41. I mean, that's insane. And then Kylo was where it kind of flipped. That was a huge match, actually. Never Lucky up 150 points on Kylo. And then that, we have to remember, like, that's a map where not a lot of people come back on that.
You can't snowball, to snowball that map is very difficult.
Yeah, it's definitely to flip it and then get map control and then hold on to that map control. It's definitely extremely difficult to do, especially considering how easy it is to come off of respawn and then flip the map, at least from like a defending perspective. Like you can just flip the map off of respawn. But they managed to not only come back into the game, but then win by about 100 points, 480 to 380.
They kept it
at the final straw there.
So long that 2-cap was ridiculous. I was like,
certainly a lot can be said about Never Lucky's mistakes in that. I think. I think that probably attributed it to that match more so than what Astro was doing right. But nonetheless, Astro came away with that victory that they honestly, I mean, they needed that, because that match, in my mind, was setting the pace for who was going to get first. And I think that if Astral can beat Never Lucky and beat PZ, the rest of the matches should be easy enough for them to just basically solidify themselves, as they did in Season 1, as the team to beat going into the season finals to represent North America.
I was going to say, talking of next week, we could quickly mention that they aren't. That would have been an awesome setup if Astral Authority were versus Team PZ there. That would have just been perfect. But then,
that'd be crazy.
We're just going to quickly nip over to the EU results very quickly and show you exactly what happened there. Of course, as I said earlier, we had some to be decided matchups. Of course, Car Crash versus Orange Logo and the TCG versus Rank 55, like two of my most anticipated matchups of the entire season, just not played. Some issues with connections, some issues with stuff is all I'm going to say about that. But that's going to be replayed during the season, as we already said before. So Vermilion 2-0 versus More Guns Than Roses. Yes, that's right. Vermilion versus, that was the first series, exactly. And yeah, it was actually More Guns had, some new guys on the team. And actually, Guns and Tools isn't really playing that much anymore. Is on the sub bench, but isn't really actually playing that much Guild Wars 2 at the moment. So I suppose even in the future he might even be removed from that roster. No Kranox either. And they actually played really well. Like Taskin coming in on Engineer as well. And Atrastia playing phenomenally well as well. I mean, Vermilion had an issue where they couldn't get RG playing Engineer on, so they had to go with Alcor and Druid. But we all know how well Alcor can play on Druid, of course, as well. So there was a lot of issues on this day for EU, to be fair. But I think More Guns Than Roses could definitely be happy with their performance. For sure. They know just some of the synergy that they need to get working. Some of their focus targeting potentially as well. They had some good fights, some good map movement. But I feel like actually watching these guys, they could get mid-table again. It could be something that they could do. I actually see them possibly beating Orange Logo again. I see them beating Super Smash. I even see them beating Car Crash and maybe Purple Noise, to be fair. I think those are their possible wins. Because I think anything goes this season. I think it's like last season. I don't think we can expect.
Yeah, it's definitely, on both sides of the coin, NA and EU, there's a lot of potential for some movement as teams are developing internally, and we could see some potentially kind of weird stuff. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I agree 100% that it's not like last season, and anything really could happen this time around, I think.
Yeah, NA is definitely more open than it was last season, especially after that Astral Authority game. That was so good. That is probably one of the best series I've seen in Pro League, actually. One of the most exciting, I've got to say. Like, I normally have been watching the NA Cups like the next day or something, just because it's late. But like, I needed to stay up to watch the finals of that till 3 a.m. I had to.
I think the thing about Never Lucky is that right now, I believe that they're competitive with Astral. I think that more often than not, Astral will win that matchup. But I think that there's a lot of growth potential within Neverlucky. I don't think that the players in Neverlucky are at their peak performance level yet.
Yeah.
And I think that they have a lot of room to grow. Specifically talking about Steel, Feov, I think, has a little bit of room to grow in terms of like his rotations and all that kind of stuff. Mechanically, I think he's pretty much where he's going to be at. But Steel, at least in my mind, and that series, certainly on Forest, I don't think that he played as well as we're used to seeing him play, and certainly what we're used to seeing is not what I think that he will eventually turn, like, kind of blossom into, I guess.
Of course.
So as those players get more experience, and as they get more experience collectively as a team, I think that Neverlucky, like, come the end of the season, you know, come potentially season 3, they're going to be looking to probably be that second NA team that establishes itself as potentially competitive with EU, and that's I guess been the goal for NA for a long time.
Yeah, of course. To have 4 teams that, you know, I mean, I don't think I feel bad saying, you know, PZ were in the finals, you know, but unfortunately they couldn't really compete with Vermilion. I mean, that's just honest, and I think most people admit that, and probably themselves as well. It's nothing against the guys; they're great players, they're great dudes, they're friends of mine as well. I would consider them anyway. But I think, you know, in this season, when have we got Neverlucky versus Team PZ? Then, God, is that right at the end of the season? No.
Neverlucky versus who? Sorry.
PZ weeks Playday 6. That's not until May 17th.
Yeah. And that actually week 6 and 7 are going to be really interesting because it's PZ versus Neverlucky and then PZ versus Astral. So
but what is the other reason that that's going to be interesting?
I mean,
new meta, man.
I mean that's definitely that's
so we've got so many things that we've got across this season.
Honestly, 6 and 7 is going to determine who goes to season finals, I think. I mean, at this point, since Astral has beaten Neverlucky, unless something like crazy changes that helps PZ out a lot, I don't see them winning versus Astral. They typically don't do well in that matchup, like historically. So I think that, and I also think that Astral is a better team than PZ, and since they played with each other a lot, like they were scrim partners throughout season 1, and then going into the season 1 finals, that Astral knows how PZ plays, Astral is a more comfortable team that they can kind of exploit that, I think, a little bit better than PZ potentially could the other way around. But if Astral beats PZ in week 7, it'll come down to that week 6 where it'll be Neverlucky versus PZ to determine who gets that second place slot, who's going to walk away with 6-1 or 5-2.
Jesus. And I literally looked at Playday 7 on EU as well, and that's Vermilion versus rank 55. So that's another week, you know. I mean, TCG are versus more guns, so, you know, pour more guns than roses. Week 6 versus rank 55 dragons, and then week 7 versus TCG. Yeah. Poor buggers. That's a horrible last 2 weeks of the cup, of the league. Sorry, but you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. But you know, things can shake up around that time, and new meta and whatever. And if you don't know what we're talking about, obviously quarter 2 changes is just a normal thing now. We know when these changes are coming up. Quarter 2, we will expect a balance patch. We will expect a meta change. So that's what we're talking about. Other than that, I mean, next week we can quickly talk about these matchups as well, as I move my microphone down. Haven't got a screen, guys, but I'm just going to mention who we got in EU. So we've got Vermilion versus Orange Logos. We're talking about with Frostball in the future, as we have an interview with himself and Honey from Purple Noise, of course. Then we have Rank 55 Dragons versus a Car Crashed. And then we have TCG versus Purple Noise, as we will talk about later as well. And then More Guns Than Roses versus Super Smash. Now, that's probably going to be one of the most competitive matchups that week, so we'll probably take that as our match of the week, as well as potentially Orange Logo versus Vermilion. But at the moment, Orange Logo, not sure how well they're going to do in that, but obviously we wish them well. But yeah, I mean, it's looking like an interesting week. It's going to be played on the 4th of April, guys. We do have a break for Easter. It's Easter Monday. In the UK, we don't have a day on that day. It's just a bank holiday, and we We eat Easter eggs, and that's what happens. But what's happening on NA on the 4th then? Who have we got?
All right, I'm gonna take you guys through, and I'm gonna tell you who's gonna win.
Oh,
Boom.
there we go.
All right. So what I'm looking at is so first game series rather.
You can
PZ
definitely
versus
do the
Easy
first
Peasy.
week.
So this is Battle of the PZs to determine who actually has to change their name finally. So this gets less confusing. PZ's gonna win that one.
Yeah.
2-0. Never Lucky versus Gyms and Tonic.
Oh, I can do
match.
this. I can do this as well.
Oh,
I can do this.
It's
This
gonna
is
make it look
easy.
way
This
better,
is an
dude.
easy week.
Never Lucky versus Gyms and Tonic. Never Lucky wins that 2-0.
Really?
Crazy, right? Astro Authority versus Spooky. Gonna be game 3.
Who's gonna win that?
Astro Authority is gonna take that 2-0. That's a
Oh,
big
oh,
bet.
really? Really? Are you gonna go full on there?
All right, I want to know what you think about this game 4, dude. Tell me, you take me through this one. This is your go.
E-Dream versus Final Form. Final Form, surely. 2-0. 2-0.
Interesting.
2-0.
Interesting.
I think
Because
so.
I'm gonna tell you right now that this is gonna go 2-1 in favor of E-Dream.
What?
I'm gonna tell you right now, dude.
Heurix is going with his heart. He's going with his
telling you
heart
right
over
now.
his head, I think.
And I'll tell you what. On EU, it'll be Vermilion, 55, TCG, and I'm calling out Super Smash to win this one.
That's the one. That's the only one I'm a little bit hesitant about saying, but I feel like Super Smash need to pull it together. They've got a week to do it. That could be 2-1 for either team. I think it's going to be 2-1 for either team, but I'm not sure I can say a winner. I'm going to say Super Smash as well. I'm going to go with Super Smash. I'm going to get some flack for that from the guys at More Guns, but I'm going to say Super Smash. But I said Super Smash would beat Purple Noise, and they didn't. And they didn't, at all. In most cases. But anyway, we'll go off that subject. So guys, we're going to jump into an interview with Frostball from Vermilion, of course, moving from Orange Logo, and also Honey from Purple Noise, who just won their last series at the first week of EU. No NA, unfortunately, this week. We weren't able to grab one of those guys, but we're going to get the NA guys in. We're just going to have an NA week as well, and we'll chat about the Pro League on the NA side. Just those guys. But we'll see you in a moment for the interview. Hi everyone, this is Honey and Frostball from Vermilion, and of course Honey from Purple Noise. Of course, myself and Heurix here as per usual. How are you guys doing? You guys good tonight?
Yeah, all Gucci.
All Gucci.
Yeah, just woke up.
All Gucci.
You just woke up. As you've noticed, guys, there is no favoritism towards EU. We do have 2 EU people from the Pro League, of course, and Heurix rolls his eyes, but he's still American, so it's okay. And we unfortunately our NA interview fell through, and Honey was very awesome enough to come and join us at the last minute, so we really do appreciate that. In fact, we almost didn't have any interviews at all, but it's all good.
You're welcome.
Frost.
he looks very frosty right now. Anyway, first week of Pro League, awesome, big changes. I almost put Frostball being in an Orange Logo, but then remembered that that's not the case. And then also Purple Noise being actually, winning their first series of the Pro League since they've actually been in it at all.
Yeah, I was actually curious about that. I mean, how does it feel to go 0-7 through an entire season, and then come back and actually get a win?
Yeah, the thing is, the first season, let's say it wasn't our meta, like with this double bunker Mesmer thingy, it wasn't our. So we were like, we're okay with the last place, and we looked ahead to the second league, and we trained a lot, and also we had the same people as we had in the season 1, so we already played together, so we were fine, and we just concentrated on the new comps, and you could see it works. Even though we're not running the meta with the Mesmer.
Yeah, but Ranger in a couple of, we saw Ranger was actually not too bad, like you say. So maybe not only you were surprised, but I think many people were kind of surprised with what was going on with the Ranger, to be honest. And also, I think I said it during the cast. It's I don't feel like sometimes it's always just the meta. It's also the player, the person themselves. Like Cole, obviously playing Ranger for forever and always being good at it, right? Exactly. Yeah. So it's partly to do with him as is himself being Cole, of course. Would you agree?
Exactly. Yeah, and that's the reason also why we played with this meta, with this comp, because we tried also the Mesmer comp, and we were like, yeah, okay, we just tried it like not even 1 week, and we wanted to be sure to win the first game, so we played our main classes because we were really confident with it, and also we scrimmed a lot with this comp, so we just took it on the safe way with the Druid.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
how
that's
much could be said though about, I mean, you guys went up against Super Smash, which is a team with mechanically pretty decent players, but as a team, you're talking about guys that maybe aren't as experienced rotationally. I mean, looking at the roster, you see people like Savile and stuff. I mean, great player, known him for a long time, love the dude, but doesn't have as much, I guess, experience out on a team, like on an actual professional team, rotating and all that stuff. And I think that might be kind of what the whole team is like, I guess.
Yeah.
And because of that, I don't think that they're going to be able to take advantage of the Mesmer as much. So do you think that maybe, I mean, while it worked this time, would it work again kind of thing, you know? Without the Mesmer?
Yeah, the first thing is, after the qualifier, we had respect for them because they did really well against Orange. So we didn't really thought about, yeah, okay, they're not really experienced player in like leagues or something. We had really respect, and as you said, I think they have a little issue with the communication, even because they're not used to it, to play like a team. I think the only one who has like experience with teams is Swick. And the other guys, I think they need to get into this. And if they're like playing more together and train, they can, of course, make something out of it because they're at all really good players, also mechanically. But I think it's really just a little thing with the communication and stuff, which you get after playing a bit together.
Well, so exactly where you guys have now got to with your composition and your... It's exactly what was said during the interview, you know. He said... It was Badaka, yeah. And he said, you know, we've come together now. It feels like we've been playing together for quite a while. And now, you know, we have our synergy and we know how to play and like together as a team. And you can almost talk, right, and not say exactly where you're going, but you know how you're going to move as a team to a degree. It's where you can, you know, be effective. And
yeah, for example, in a fight, and like when Viper has a Toon 1, for example, and I know, for example, how long he can survive. So, like, when I need to leave the fight to help him out, or I know, okay, he can sustain it a bit, that we can get the advantage out of it to have the +1 somewhere else. These are stuffs which you get after playing together.
That's good. Awesome. So then, of course, we got Frostball, who goes back onto a team with his old teammates. And obviously that synergy has to be relived and brought back together, right? Or how easy is it to go back to playing with those guys? Because a lot of people don't remember or don't know that you played with those guys before Orange Logo, right?
Yeah, I played in Orange Logo Nurse, and, well, it wasn't even called Vermilion back then. Yeah.
That's right.
So that was sort of a long time ago. But it wasn't that hard to actually get back to the team. It was actually easier to synergize with than Orange Logo. So that's partly why I joined them. But yeah.
How do you feel about the move at the moment? I mean, I know you talked about it a little bit, but just getting it out there for these guys that are watching this show here.
The move?
Yeah.
As in, like, moving to Vermilion?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's really good, actually. I'm really happy about how it's went so far. And we're doing pretty good, actually. Like, as I said, the rotations and the synergy is going really well, actually. Like, a lot better than it's been going ever. Even before, when we were playing as a team together. And I think they did a few roster changes back then, or they got some people, or kicked some people after that, after I left. But the team's definitely got a lot better. And they've had the same roster for a while, so they actually like got some experience now.
I think they've not only improved as players, but I think they've matured a bit. I know they're young guys. They're a young team.
Oh yeah.
We've met them in the finals. I think there's a certain amount of maturity you need to come into tournaments and stuff to improve as a team and to just approach the situation a lot differently. Which I think over the last year, and you're saying it was a long time ago because it was last summer where I remember watching you guys screaming Orange logo to go to Gamescom and whatnot, and that's really where the team kind of formed from as well. And now they've overtaken the guys who were kind of teaching them, and now they're in the Pro League finals. I mean, it's a great storyline, right? And now you're back with the guys, and I mean, happy days. But it does leave Orange Logo obviously in a position where they're still not even played in the Pro League, which we're going to talk about later. But yeah, I mean, you feel pretty solid after the performance on Monday with Vermilion, even though RG wasn't there, and you had another Druid. So we had 2 Druids in 2 series on the EU where their teams won, and that's pretty crazy, right? Did you?
But the Druid thing wasn't planned at all.
No.
Postponed the matches and stuff to get RG back on.
Yeah.
Because someone plugged his internet off.
That's right.
So we just had to take Alcor. Alcor was eating, so we tried to contact him, but it took a while. So it took 15 minutes, and then he came online, and then Law just more or less forced us to play.
Amazing.
And yeah.
So it was a last minute scrap.
Yeah, it was a last minute sub, and he hadn't played Druid or he hadn't played anything in any scrims or any tournaments for a month or more. So that kind of sucked, and Druid isn't all that viable at the moment.
What,
so.
literally since the finals he's not played?
Yeah.
Okay, well, fair enough. Well, did pretty good, to be honest.
Like riding a bike, man.
Yeah, there you go. Apparently so. So you both feel good about your last series you've played. Obviously, you would have. It would have been useful to see RG playing versus More Guns to see what the score difference would have been. But More Guns and Roses, obviously, they're a new roster themselves, right? I mean, how do you feel that they performed? Because I actually felt they played quite well.
I'm not sure really. I didn't look at the matches afterwards or anything. I didn't really have the time to when I was playing. So I don't know. We did some. Even though we were playing with Druid, we could have played a bit better, because we were putting Alcor in team fights at some points quite a lot actually, and that was a big mistake. But maybe they play well. At least they trained the Druid well.
I think they played really well.
They played better than I expected.
They're training a lot. They're screaming it every day.
Oh, that's good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm surprised. I've got to be honest. I wasn't sure that Purple Noise were going to beat Super Smash after seeing them versus Orange Logo.
I would have to agree. That was something that I was curious about. I wasn't gonna say Super Smash was gonna win, but I was curious. I didn't know who would win. That was one of the toss-ups for me personally.
I mean, it's not it's not a belief. We're literally going off past results, and because of the qualifiers where they played against Orange Logo, but then we forget that Orange Logo are in kind of a state of disarray, themselves, that they could be again fighting for promotion this season if things go the similar way that they have been. They've lost Frostball now as well, and they have to re-synergize it as a team. I don't want to make you feel guilty for that. I think you made a good a decision which is good for you, and that's a good thing. But that's the state of affairs, and that's the way it is. So yeah, I mean, it's just based off that. It's not like we're just casters and making up predictions. But anyway, you guys must have been really just or admins.
That's getting changed, man. That's getting changed.
Soon. Trademark when it's ready. Anyway, but But yeah, I mean, you guys, were you quite surprised about that win, or you felt that you... No?
No. As I said, we had respect, and
of course.
but we were really confident because we screamed a lot, and at the end we found a really nice opener, which we were really solid with me, Badarka, Viper going far, forcing them the 3-3 in our favor, to be honest, because I don't know, we are really working good together, and like the thing when you play with a Necro, like with the Death Shroud, and when you heal and all this stuff, so we are really used to this, to this 3 versus 3. And then we had on the other nodes like our strong 101er, and the thing was that Kava can hold a Mesmer, and they did the kind of mistake to put Amster always against Kava.
Yeah.
So we kind of
took advantage of it.
Exactly, yeah. We put Amsterdam out of the team fight so we can have our relaxed.
That was pretty much, that was one of their biggest issues. I completely agree. He was like always in that fight with him, and I was like, I think I said it during the cast. I was like, he needs to be there. Like, he's not in the right position at the moment, and I mean, it's difficult.
You talked about your opener though, but like, if I remember correctly, on Forest, that was kind of sketchy, right? I mean, Kava was dead. I think Cole died first at mid. Kava got chased down at mid as well. And you guys wound up killing 2. I think it was Peaceling and Amka, I think it was, that you guys wound up killing over at far. But, I mean, are you feeling confident that you'd be able to pull that off against a team that has a lot more experience and maybe can anticipate that kind of thing? Because if you're talking about how comfortable you are with that split, I mean, certainly talking about it now in a more public setting, they're going to be able to say, oh, we know exactly what they're going to do on the split. Like, we can do something about this. You know what I mean? Are you worried about that?
Before the match started, we kind of thought about how they could open. And so we just tried to have, no matter how they open, that we have a good fight. So we were thinking about that they splitting only on 2 nodes. And they kind of did. So we sent it 2 on middle and we 3 on far and let close open. People will think like, what's letting close open? Like losing points because of this? Yeah, of course, because the thing is, we had our solid fights. And
it's true.
So we're like not losing any points and still have like, how should I say, yeah, we had the solid fights. Even though we lost the middle fight, we could still make our advantage out of it because we won far, and we could have kept close. So we had still 2 nodes. We lost middle, but it was okay because they split it out to our close, and we had our respawns there with Kava and Cole. So both points were safe, and yeah, that was basically.
But what would you have done if instead of going towards home because they knew they had a kill? Because I'm looking at it from their perspective. So they know that they just got 2 kills, so they have 2 people that they have to worry about coming off of respawn. So going to your guys' close probably shouldn't have really been an option unless like it was to leave a portal or something. If they had gone and pinched you guys and caught all 3 of you, they could have easily wiped all 3 of you because you guys don't have that Mesmer to get out. So I mean, like, is that something that you guys are like kind of ready for them to kind of come down on you like that?
If they would have pushed to us, to our firefight, I think we would also be fine because we had respawns of them as well because we killed people on far, and we would have get the information from our 2 people on middle where they're going. If they say, yeah, okay, they're gonna come far and want, we just would have disengaged and engaged a bit later then. So they went to our close, and yeah, the close point was our point. I don't know if it was the best idea of them because they knew we had 2 bunkerish people on respawn. So yeah, we could have held it close and far.
Well,
I mean, I like saw a bit of those games as well, and it's. They haven't been scrimming for a while, Super Smash. They haven't, really been able to since they were kind of busy. so that might have been a pretty big factor as well. And then them not being able to rotate as well. Like I'm sure learned Mesmer pretty well in Wonders ones, and mechanically he's pretty good at already.
I think he's focusing too much on 101s though.
Yes, he's focusing way too much on 101s.
Okay, well that's a good call. So you generally, I mean, there's a lot of people. I mean, Frostball. If anyone's going to talk about Mesmer, then why not? Yes, I mean, why not? You know. So I mean, maybe it's a good thing to talk about now, because maybe there's guys out there who play Mesmer and they want to get out there and play and whatnot. But in terms of your role in the team of Vermilion, what do you see yourself as? Obviously people saw the Pro League, but what is your main role? Could you describe it?
I'm quite a lot of the time I push for the ones, but it's like when you have your CDs up like Moa or Portal, you can always do stuff with them, and that's mostly like what makes the difference between a Mesmer, like a good Mesmer, and than just someone who's played solo. Because when you play solo in ranked or stuff, it's just the best option is to go far and win it. It's like you can't really learn team play at all when you're queuing or stuff. So you need to play with your team. And when you have your CDs up, you don't need to push for the ones one, or you shouldn't actually most of the time. With Portal, like you don't always need to do plays. You can just push with Portal as well. But Moa, it's like you can always get a free team fight kill with a Moa, so it's always good to do that. It's like you can save it for the wonders ones as well, but I don't think that's worth it. It's just like you can even just stay with the wonders ones, but then like do the plays and be a very good Mesmer. I don't know. It's
I think you do.
It's
you just said
mostly
it.
around Moa.
Okay, so yeah, I mean Moa. If you miss that Moa, that's a pretty big thing to go down though.
Yeah, but with the continuous split, you don't really have that big of a CD, so the punishment isn't that big. Although I think that's gonna get nerfed at some point.
Yeah.
What do you think about? Because this is actually like I guess a point of contention among Mesmers, and you see teams kind of doing it both ways, where you see, and I just wanted your opinion on it. Using Moa out of Continuum Split. Bad idea, good idea, depending on the situation. Always a bad idea.
It's depending on the situation.
Right.
It's like, if you need that Moa, or if that Moa is like, if you can get a huge snowball out of it, it can be good. But most of the time, like mid-game or at the start of the game, it's pretty bad. That's mostly just because like then the other Mesmer is gonna have the Moa ready every 70 seconds or 60 seconds, what is it with Alakri. So then you're not gonna have that. You're not gonna have that for the next 3 minutes or what? I can't remember really.
Yeah.
But
plus alacrity, but
yeah, plus alacrity. But it's like I've used it sometimes very close to the end of games. That's when it's usually you can use it.
Right.
Because you won't have your CD up again after that. But like I used to also when I could have gotten multiple Moas after that still if I wouldn't have used it twice. But I just used it to get the bigger snowball. Like sometimes it's worth it because you can get more out of it, like a lot more out of it. But most of the time it's not.
Awesome.
I agree. I just wanted to know your thought on it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good explanation. You've got it's an important duo of combination which can really like you say snowball maps, win team fights, especially if you don't have a Mesmer. But that doesn't matter because apparently purple dice don't need a Mesmer. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're just going to almost kind of round out the show. But I just wanted to ask you guys about your matchups for next week. So Vermilion have orange logo. And Purple Noise have TCG.
Yeah.
Good match.
Why do you laugh? Why do you laugh?
Well, because for both of you, it's quite, isn't it quite? I don't know, poetic almost in a way that second Pro League week and first one really for Orange Logo, they go against their old teammate Frostball, and then you guys are going to go up against TCG, who haven't played yet in the Pro League either. So. you know, there's different things in this. So just going to you, Frostball, first about Orange Logo. How do you feel about going against those guys in the? It's not next week, but the next play day on the 4th of April.
I don't know. I mean, I feel confident in the way that I'm like, yeah, how's it gonna go? But it's like obviously it's leaving RNG with. I mean, they have 6 players or had 6 players, but then I left. So they have 5 players even as well now, but it's still a big difference because they don't really have a Mesmer at all.
Yeah.
So me leaving for them could be kind of a big hit, and that's obviously like I don't feel good about that, like leaving to Vermeulen. But it was just a better team. I left because of that. But yeah, Mondays. I don't know, like, I'm not sure whether they're even gonna play. Are they gonna play Cinder or Thief or Mesmer? I don't know about that. And I have no idea how's it gonna go. Yeah, I heard, like, Cinder is not gonna play Thief, but yeah, I don't know which is better for them, really. Because you kind of, like, sort of need experience as a Mesmer to play well because of the portals and MOA and stuff. But
Yeah, it's the
I guess you could pull it
situations.
off.
Yeah, it's exactly those situations you were talking about earlier. You know, those cooldowns and when to use them, and when you, especially with the rest of the team as well. And it's like,
Yeah.
He is a pretty systematic player, though. Kind of
True.
like I kind of attribute him a little bit to his style of play to Fayov over in NA as well, where they really like think every move through. I guess it's not like reactionary gameplay style that you'll see a
more
lot
of
of
a
pro
chess
players
thing.
use. Yeah, it's definitely more like that, and I feel like that could help him play it a little bit better or pick it up a little bit more quickly and adapt to it. But yeah, that's certainly going to be a factor. I mean, while Sind is a good player, he's not.
He just
I
doesn't
guess,
main
as
Mesmer.
He's
seasoned
not a
on
Mesmer.
He's just not a Mesmer.
Exactly.
We're definitely not like saying that he's a bad player. 100%. Most people, well, hopefully, people know that that's what we're saying. But you know,
it's
when
just safe in my opinion.
yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're going up against the guy who's been playing, you know, Mesmer forever, and you've got to play that class, and it's not something you've been maining, especially when you've been playing FIFA more. You know, it's,
So what about Purple Noise versus TCG, man?
Oh yeah.
I'm interested in that one.
You know, you
guys
can't get away with
1-0 right now. You get to defend the title. It's up to you.
Yeah, easy win, you know, like.
Easy
No,
win, easy life. There we go.
Yeah, easy money. No, I'm joking.
Oh, no. No, he did say easy money.
No. I'm joking.
Okay, good. I can't remember who keeps saying that all the time, but it doesn't
Rom.
matter. Is
Yeah,
it Rom? Oh my god,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
Rom.
Easy
Jesus
money.
Christ.
Easy money.
Yeah,
Easy money.
easy money. No, it
Lovely
will
man.
be one of the hardest matches in the season 1 for in the season 2 for us.
Right.
And the good thing is we have now 1 week more to think about what we are doing against them.
Really?
If we have some plans.
You couldn't
what
watch
we
them, though.
can
That's-
do,
That's
which
wonderful.
I'm not gonna say.
Okay.
What?
The thing I was going to say is that TCG, they got to watch your first series. You didn't get to watch them.
Yeah.
That's one big thing actually that I just literally thought about. They didn't play, so they you know they can scout you out. You can't scout them out. Kind of sucks. I didn't mean to sound like negative on
No.
what's going to happen. Just trying to make.
I mean, it is
something
a
good.
negative for them. I mean, certainly it's going to amount to something. I mean, Helseth is one of those guys that actually will prep for a match. So I mean, you never know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they have
Definitely
a
not a
big
positive.
plus. Yeah, they have a big plus with Helseth because he's like main Mesmer and he's playing it really well. And we played with the Druid comp and okay.
I think I think also is that sometimes TCG have a difficulty managing the unknown. Is actually something I've actually seen quite a lot with their team in the past, like just playing wise. I think Druid actually could be something which maybe might help them out, might help you out. You never know. I mean, sometimes they have this issue of just underestimating their opponents, and it's kind of screwed them over.
I honestly think that in this meta, the scariest possible thing that you could possibly go up against is a player who mains Mesmer and can shot call rotations. And that's Hellsith.
Look,
that is terrifying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look on the other side of the coin.
I'm just saying, man.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
I'm
You're
very
It's
much
completely
a realist
true,
in these
yeah.
scenarios, so
You are completely right. You are completely right.
that's
Yeah.
terrifying. So I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I know you guys have done a lot of work, and you guys certainly look, worlds better than you did last season,
yeah.
and that deserves respect in and of itself. But at the same time, like that is something that I know you guys are thinking about, but it needs to be definitely needs to be at the forefront of the conversation when you guys are prepping for that match. Is how you're going to deal with that Mesmer, because that's how they're going to play.
Just do what
Actually,
they did versus Hamster.
About like Hellsith playing Mesmer and being main, I don't know, like he seemed to play a bit better with the portals at Checha once he was when he was Shadow Mesmer, like before the normal power Shadow Mesmer.
True.
So I'm not sure, like it just doesn't seem the same anymore. So I'm not sure, like it's not that big of a threat.
Yeah,
At
the
the
thing
moment,
is
in my
to
opinion.
hit the Moors and do some nice portal plays, and that's what he is really good in. From my side, I would say. So yeah, we have respect, much respect, but it's not one of the matches which we want 100% to win. So we are also fine when we lose this.
Of
So
course.
yeah, they're one of the best teams. So yeah,
Fair enough.
but we still will go for it and try our best though.
Of course.
And we have
that
some
goes without
plans, like we're not going into it like YOLO.
Good. I hope not. We don't expect you to be doing that. That's for sure. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to end this part of the show. Of course. Thank you, Frostball, and also to Honey for joining us. Really appreciate it. Make sure you guys follow these guys. Honey's Twitter at the moment is part of Purple Noise at GW2 Purple Noise, and Frostball has his own. Go and follow this man. He's literally just made it. So you need to make sure you're following him as well. Make sure you follow Purple
Just
Noise.
made it.
Just made it.
More or less.
Maybe. We've just been aware of it, maybe. And also, we'll see you next week as well. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.